Live from Los Angeles. Welcome to Good Morning La La Land. I'm Dr. Aaron.
I'm Rob Mack.
And I'm Justin Moye. This is Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and Twitch. Also available on Apple TV and Roku via the app.
And it is hashtag Transformation Tuesday. We're going to talk about the fact that no one is ever going to save you. Taking 100% responsibility for your life. I know it's a tough one.
It's a tough one,
Tough
right
one to swallow. We come together each day to know the truth, live on spiritual principle, align with universal law, and share out. You now can share out on, what is it called? A video?
Facebook watch party?
Watch party.
Yes.
Yeah, why
It's a brand new
not?
thing.
You gotta
I'm putting it
spread-
every day on the social media.
I know. We got to
As soon as
spread
I
the good
get,
news.
like, to where everybody else is at, it's already moved on.
Can't keep up. Just let Divine handle it.
Switch the wire. Turn the mic on. Turn the mic on.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. How are you? How are you today? Well, I'm not normally a morning person, even though my body suggests otherwise. Every day at 7 a.m. I wake up whether I want to or not. So I've adapted a policy of getting up and going outside and watering my plants. I have a vegetable garden, and I find that gets me kind of back on the right side of the bed after kind of a bumpy start.
I love that. Literally or figuratively?
Both.
Both. Good for you.
Well, thank you so much for being with us today. Dimitri is in the house, hot off the set of his latest film starring Nicolas Cage Jiu-Jitsu. Good morning, Dimitri.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for being with us today. How do you start your day? What's your morning routine?
Well, let's see. I live in the marina. I usually jump on my bike and try to hit the bike path and get about 12 miles in. And then I sit down at my favorite coffee shop and have some coffee and some breakfast and try to wake up.
So inquiring minds want to know, what's your favorite coffee shop in Los Angeles?
It's called Cafe K, and it's in Santa Monica.
Love that. So check that out.
I can,
I've been there.
appreciate a good cup of coffee. Well, thank you both for being with us today. We look forward to continuing the conversation later in the show.
12 miles for a cup
Thanks.
of coffee.
12 miles is pretty, that's pretty intense.
That's some motivation.
Yeah. I feel like if you do 12 miles, you don't need the coffee.
Well, yeah, one or the other. I have the coffee before I go.
You're already good.
I'm going to need 3 coffees before I do that 12 miles, that's for sure.
I feel you on that, Jess. Absolutely. My goodness.
For sure. I felt a little chill in the air. Definitely fall is
Definitely fall.
coming in cold.
I know. Halloween will be here before we know it.
I know, right?
Yeah. Do you do Halloween
I
stuff?
love fall and Halloween stuff. One of my favorite things to do is the Haunted Hayride in Griffith Park. Do you remember Melissa, the founder of that, was on our show just last season, and it was so cool. It was like literally walking onto the set of Tim Burton's A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, wow.
I mean, everyone was in costumes. You didn't feel like you were in Los Angeles. There was fog and hay. So I'm really excited to do that again. I don't like to go through those scary. I don't like a scary night. I don't like when you scare me. I just want to say, oh, your costume looks very nice. Thank you. Piece of candy, you're welcome. I mean, I don't like to be scared.
Yeah, it's very Michigan of you in the best way.
In the best way.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
It's all past my bedtime. I don't
I
if
know.
I'll
Oh
make
my
it
gosh.
This year.
It's incredible too. I don't remember as a child like celebrating Halloween for weeks and weeks and weeks, but it's already started. I mean, there are Halloween parties this weekend.
Oh,
they go
really?
through like November.
So,
it's unbelievable.
Rob, if I were to ask your mother what your favorite Halloween costume was, what would she say?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. Probably Karate Kid. Because it required no effort, just a headband. That was like it. Maybe some nunchucks that you didn't even use, but
Fair
yeah.
enough.
It all depends on the weather and where you're at. You
Yeah.
know, if you're in Miami, the girls are all naked. It's an
Oh, right.
excuse to like,
Well,
paint
yeah.
their bodies and pretend like it's Halloween.
Literally true.
If
yeah.
you're in, a Denver, everyone's, I
Yeah.
think I'll be a bunny and wear some like big huge coat.
No,
like all the
I was
bands
from
wear.
Michigan, and I was still Marilyn Monroe, but the trick was to put a turtleneck on underneath my little black dress with a boa. Mind you, I was 7 years old.
Yeah, that's
Yes.
a little
Sweet,
different.
Jess.
Yeah.
At some point, we're going to break out those pictures. I want to see those pictures.
Oh no, those were awkward years.
Did you usually get dressed up for Halloween?
No, I mean, I just miss when my son was little. That was the best part. It was an afternoon, early evening thing. You would actually, you go through the different neighborhoods, but they would open up malls or the main streets, and you'd go, it was like easier, so you didn't have to track through. Like, remember back in the day when people actually went door to door? They
Oh,
don't
yeah.
really do that anymore, unless it's like the really rich neighborhood,
True.
right?
I mean, even then, it was kind of scary. You had to have your candy X-rayed. Do you remember that? You like take it to the hospital, have it X-rayed, make sure there's nothing.
No, that's
never,
very
that would be
That was just in my neighborhood kind of thing. But I grew up in a really good neighborhood, but it wasn't, But it was
X-ray
just
the
a thing.
candy.
You had to be careful.
Well, we never did that, Rob.
They released a study that America's favorite Halloween candy is Reese's.
Really?
Wow.
And I agree. That was always my favorite Halloween
Like the
candy.
Reese's Pieces or the Reese's Peanut Butter Cups?
I
or
don't
both?
discriminate. I'll take the
All of
pieces
it.
or the cups. Either
No,
way.
I will totally discriminate because the cups are much better than the little can. It's not even the same peanut butter stuff in there.
Well, those little pieces are tricky because you can have like 1,000 and not realize it. Like I just had a couple, but you just keep having handfuls.
My son never was had a big sweet tooth, so I'd go and like steal his candy. I don't know. He never ate it ever.
Yeah. That's one of the sweetest things about you. You do literally have a sweet tooth.
Literally.
Yeah, you wouldn't expect that, but you do.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll catch Erin just like at the craft fair. She takes one little cookie out of the bag and then pretends like she didn't take anything. She goes back and she takes one more little cookie.
Where
Walks
I
away.
have like the total sweet tooth. It
Yeah.
is my thing for sure. Coffee and sweets. Other than that, just got divine.
Yeah, pretty much priceless after that, right?
I don't have any dysfunction in my life
That's
anymore.
good.
So
That's a good thing. Yeah.
That's really good. Yeah. So speaking of, we're talking about Transformation Tuesday, and I think one of the biggest thing that ever transformed my life, I will never forget doing my inner work, going to seminars, and really getting the concept that no one's going to save me and that I really am 100% responsible for my happiness, for my prosperity, for my joy, for my love, and thinking, at first I was kind of pissed. You know what I mean? I was like, what do you mean? You know, so-and-so did that. What do you mean? Like, you know, and then you really get it, and it's like, there's a real weight at first, and then there's a total freedom. So wondering how you guys, I know that you guys definitely know this distinction. So what was that like? Do you remember when it happened for you guys?
And that idea, you're right, expresses itself in romantic relationships, right? But also like your professional life. Like,
Yeah.
you know,
All
as a
the
model
above.
or an actor or an
Yeah.
inspiring model or actor, you kind of hope you'll just run into somebody and they discover you and then boom, your life is
Your lucky
success.
break.
Yeah.
Yeah. Discovered overnight success.
Yeah, it's very Charlize Theron.
Right.
But, you know, interestingly enough, I think the people that are sort of discovered in that way often aren't looking for it. That's part of the nature. But I would say when I had that realization was probably after first relationship or so, and I realized that not only could I not be saved, but also I couldn't save anyone either, right? Because it goes both ways. So that was when it happened for me.
It was really interesting because I realized in my last relationship, one, I was trying to save them, but two, I thought they were my hero and that they had saved me, and then realized they didn't want to be my hero or save me. And I thought, but I was trying to save you. There was just so much like codependency in that we would save each other. And that didn't work. So then I went right into dating, and I was looking for someone to save or that would save me. And I thought, hang on a minute. I have got to like figure this out, clear the space. I can't date if I'm looking for somebody to save me. That is putting so many unnecessary expectations on that person. Granted, I attract the man who wants to be the hero, and I want that person in my life who can serve me in those ways, but not save me.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Totally. I
Yeah.
totally get it. You want to be supported, not saved. I think, you know, what was it called? The Shining Knight Syndrome or the Savior Complex. And I found myself
I've
more often.
been waiting for that guy
Have you?
to line up on the white horse.
I've always wanted to be the guy on the way, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I discovered, oh, this is not a good thing. It sounds so romantic, but it's actually full of pain and suffering.
Then you wait your whole life.
Yeah, you
Or,
wait your whole
or
life.
you become the girl who looks like she doesn't need anyone. She doesn't need that hero. She's got it figured out. And that's a really big struggle for a lot of working millennial women like me who are single, because they appear to have it all figured out, right? I don't need you to pay for my dinner. I don't need you to tell me what to do with my career or where to go on vacation. Like, I've got this.
Yeah.
And then I approach relationships and they're like, hang on a minute, then what do you need me for? I come up with so much masculine energy and they're like, is this a business deal? And I'm like, no, I'm good.
Yeah.
And I'm not really coming from that place where I can be open or receptive to a partner. And that's how it seems. Like on paper, I'm great, but I'm not making them feel needed or wanted because I don't really need them, but I want them.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a dance for sure.
It is a dance for sure. And I love what you're saying there, Jez. I think, you know, what I love both about both of you is that you're strong, you're incredibly courageous and brave, and you're independent and you're autonomous and you live these incredibly inspiring lives. And I think that invites into your life guys that are very confident and secure in themselves, or it doesn't invite men in your life at all, right? Because if they can't handle that, then maybe they shouldn't be in your life.
Yeah, or they come in and they go, oh, never mind.
Yeah. Right. I mean, it's tricky because as a doctor of divinity, we teach that if you put any of your source of happiness or you instantaneously make that a source of suffering, anything outside of yourself, if you're looking to fulfill yourself or looking out there, you will experience being disempowered instantaneously. That's how powerful you are, right? So I don't think it's about not wanting to open your heart or connect. It's not about that, but it has to come from a space of, guess what? You're completely never responsible for my happiness, and therefore you will never be the source of my suffering or I'll never point the finger at you.
And I would say, and so it is a dance, and there's a sweet spot there because so much of relationships and so much of folks searching for and looking for love in the world is simply trying to fill this void or fill this hole,
Yeah.
or fill this incompleteness or the sense of lack they have on the inside. I would say that over 90% of the search and the look for sort
sure.
of looking for love is about that, right?
sure.
So that's the challenge, is to be complete, and I think when you're complete, you automatically begin to share and emanate love, and I think that's in and of itself attractive. You know,
Yeah.
you're not trying to do it to get something, you're just doing it because
Right.
you love sharing.
And it's do you find, because obviously you work with celebrities and top influencers as well, and I would say the number one thing is them dealing with codependency.
Yeah.
Because they figured out kind of the business aspect of it, but you know, there's still their relationships are really the biggest thing for most of us. I think in America, I don't know about the rest of the world, but in America, I think codependency is one of the biggest things that really destroys lives.
Oh, absolutely. So what's the answer here?
Never ever seek
Hire the
anything
two of
outside
you.
yourself. Never ever make somebody your source of as your higher power.
Yeah, it's such a good point. I mean, you just can't find happiness in the world. You can't find it in other people.
No.
You only find happiness within yourself. And once you find it within yourself, everybody and everything else in the world does fulfill you, because you don't have any expectations for those
Totally,
things.
completely.
Right?
And so it
Nice.
is.
Cool.
Yes.
So good.
Let's take a break. When we come back, we're going to talk to our amazing guests, how they have transformed their lives. Stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
I'm so excited to be here on the couch with all you amazing people.
Yeah.
I'm just in complete awe. Thank you.
Happy to be here. And for those who don't know what goes on, this is a big old, there's a lot going on here.
a lot
You do
going
this
on
every
here.
day.
Live.
God
5
bless
days
you
a week.
guys. I mean, people, there's a lot going on.
Thank you for having me. This is an awesome studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm so excited.
I feel that, actually. I can feel that.
How exciting Motivation Monday. And the guests this morning have been incredible.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here with you.
And we have Rachel Boston, who is in The Last Bridesmaid on Hallmark. It actually is dropping tomorrow, the 22nd, right?
It is. Tomorrow night's our premiere.
Woo! How
Congratulations. I am so excited to welcome Jason and Ashley Waller to the show. Congratulations on the new beginnings. We're so excited for the premiere on MTV tonight.
Thank you guys. We appreciate it. Thank you.
The book is actually being shipped out today. It published this week.
What?
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
You guys are
Super
the
cool.
first show that I've actually done talking about the book.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
Our friends at Universal Pictures have a special delivery for us this morning from a tethered himself.
Ooh.
Have you seen the film Us by Academy Award
my
winner
gosh.
Jordan Peele?
You know, I'm sitting here next to you guys, and it's just like, this is a powerful moment for me. Like, you know, I'm humbled by it, because it's like I'm sharing this movie with you guys, and you know, it's moving for me.
What are you most grateful for today?
I am so grateful to be here and to have the opportunity to be with all these wonderful, badass boss babes and with all of you. And it's just a wonderful opportunity to share the positive messages out in the world, because I think the world really needs it right now.
What we've done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh,
And I thought,
nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born. Now,
Show the camera.
up to you to choose the winner. Is it Annie? Is it Haley?
That's why I like this show. You know, years ago I did the Dinah Show, which is Dinah Shore, and it was a daytime show. And it was kind of like this. And it was just like very up, and it was all positive stuff. They didn't bring negative stuff to the audience. And that's why I feel with this show. It's very relaxed. You know, it's very professional, but it's quite a bit of fun.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch
And binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
First TV experience. I'm so happy I did it with you.
uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. I am very honored to welcome Dimitri Logothetis to the show. He is a man who has truly transformed Hollywood. Dimitri, good morning.
Good morning.
So we know you are hot off the set of your latest film starring Nicolas Cage.
Yes, Jiu-Jitsu.
Tell us about that.
Well, it's science fiction martial arts, and the last film I did before this was called Kickboxer. I did a remake of the very famous film from the 80s that Jean-Claude Van Damme starred in. And I rebooted that franchise, and I did the first one, then I did the second one. And so I always had in mind that I wanted to do something around science fiction. And so I wrote a comic book called Jiu-Jitsu, just to see what it would look like, so that I could see if it would look good as a film. And then I kind of liked it and ended up making a movie out of it. So.
Was this the first comic you've ever written?
Yes.
Wow. So you're from Greece originally. You have this kind of air about you, and your company is called King Road Entertainment, and you're working with a bunch of kings, which is really about the mindset. And what is the common denominator of the mindset of you have these films that they all have a kind of a distinction to them. What is that, would you say?
Well, I mean, I try to make something fun. Martial arts, I think, I grew up in martial arts. I was a 2-time black belt in my 20s. And I think that martial arts is probably one of the only art forms where, as a young man or woman, you can look up on the screen and you can see that you could be that superhero. You watch all these superheroes movies today, and you see all these special effects, and you see all these actors pulling these things off that I can make them look great doing. But with my films, they're all real martial artists. They've studied for years. They really do all the things that you see on the screen. And I think it's something that sort of takes you away, and it's a fantasy about good guys and bad guys and doing the right thing and loyalty and all those kind of things that I think are important.
I really appreciate that, though, how accessible you've created this fantasy world, that idealized version of a hero is attainable. Who or what has inspired that within you, that idea of, I'm going to make these heroes?
Well, I mean, I think that it was me. When I was a kid, and I looked, and, all of us today, we talk about bullying and bullies and so on and so forth, and it was the kind of thing where I really wanted to learn something after high school, because sports was finished, and I wanted to get involved in something that kept me athletic. But I found a kind of an honor in martial arts and a kind of a discipline in martial arts. Please, thank you, respect, And I think, look, in the East, this is the best genre you could work on. It's the Godfather for them. And here in the West, sometimes everybody thinks that this is just kind of a B movie, But there's an awful lot of wonderful qualities that our leading characters have. And so that's what inspired me.
Do you remember the actual moment when you fell in love with martial arts?
Yeah. I saw Bruce Lee in Enter the Dragon.
Yeah, it was Bruce Lee. You gotta say Bruce Lee, right?
I think my buddies and I, we went and saw they were doing midnight showings all over the place in the South Bay. I grew up in the South Bay. And every time they showed Enter the Dragon, I think we probably saw it about 24 times.
Yeah.
Wow. And we memorized all the dialogue. And it was just campy and fun, a lot of fun. But when you saw what he did on camera and you saw some of those other martial artists on camera, you were like, wow.
Wow.
And I think that's probably what did it.
So today we're talking a little bit about really knowing that no one's going to save you. You really have to take 100% responsibility for your life. Any thought on that? Obviously you have a lot of success. Any advice you'd give for people out there, how you've taken responsibility for your life?
I embrace that. I think I probably did it in my late 30s, where I stopped being the victim. And I think that that's very important. Anytime somebody takes advantage of you, it's because you let that happen. Anytime something bad happened or something didn't happen, it's because you allowed that to happen. And so, for me, I'm a consummate filmmaker. I'm a producer. I'm a writer. I'm a director. And producing is a verb. You don't just sit around at a coffee shop waiting for something to happen. You have to go out there and make it happen. And so I think you're also responsible for your failures at that point.
For sure, right?
Which is great.
I hate to say that.
But I mean, it's great
It's
because that's
great.
what you learn from. You know,
Absolutely.
you got to embrace it all, and it's all part of the ride. And
I think some people might maybe go, what do you mean? How I didn't let that happen, that, you know, X and Y and Z, but on a spiritual level, we really do choose everything. And it's a very advanced concept that's really difficult for some people to get, but as you master, and I'm sure that your practice within martial arts has helped you, what is the philosophy behind the martial arts that you love so much?
well, I mean, it all is the same. You know, discipline, respect, loyalty. You know, those are all the things that I think are very empowering.
It's funny though, because those words aren't often synonymous with Hollywood.
You noticed that?
I've noticed that
Yeah.
after
God,
12
that's
years.
odd.
Yeah, navigating that in La La Land. So how do you do that? Because I mean, you've worked with some of the greats, right? Not just Nicolas Cage, but Paul Newman and Lily Tomlin. How have you navigated that?
Well, I mean, first of all, there are some wonderful people, and
There are.
There are, and Nick Cage is one of them. He's a consummate artist. He knows about philosophy. He knows about painting. He knows about music, composers. He's a consummate artist, and when he came on set, he completely. Pardon me. When he got off the airplane to meet me in Cyprus, he knew all of his lines. He talked to me about his character, and he immediately wanted to go after a 16-hour trip and go meet with the stunt guys and start working out. And so, where do you get that with people? I mean, he's a complete professional. He's one of those actors very similar to the European actors that wants to do as much work as possible to get better and better every day. He doesn't like it when he's not working, and that's probably why he's got an Academy Award.
Don't you love that?
Yeah, it's incredible.
So good to hear,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, because he could easily rest on his laurels. He clearly doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
Yeah, well, listen, work is wonderful, isn't it, for you guys?
Absolutely.
You love getting up and having something to do and thinking about something and trying to do your best every day. And
We don't call it workaholism, we just call it a mission.
Yeah.
You know, it's like
Yeah.
the same thing, but you
Yeah,
know.
if you enjoy it, it's play, right? I mean,
Right.
to a large extent.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you have any advice that you would share with maybe any other young actors or young directors that want to follow in your footsteps and your mission?
Well, you know, you guys have this theme going today. I mean, it's your life, and it's not a dress rehearsal. So go out there and get what you want. There's no look. I came over here with my parents. I was an immigrant who made it. Wow, can you imagine that? And just in case you've heard something about immigrants nowadays in the news,
Just vaguely.
it's easy to become an immigrant nowadays. But in any case, I'm an immigrant, and we didn't have anything. My father worked very hard. He was a mechanic. And I just kept hearing about, you know, you're not going to go to film school, are you? You're not going to be able to do anything in film school. You can't really write. You're not from here. You know, you don't know anybody. And luckily, I'm, you know, a little stubborn. I don't really listen to stuff like that. And I just kept moving forward. And I just, if you really believe in yourself and you're talented, and you believe in your talent, and maybe you're not that talented, okay? But you can become better. So stay on it. I mean, there's no reason why you can't live your dream.
1,000%.
Just love that.
So inspiring.
Is that what you think and feel has led to, in addition to, of course, you being incredibly talented, is it your persistence and your stubbornness and your basic stickability that you think has led to the extraordinary success you're enjoying today?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You just you don't accept failure, right? I mean, it's all, look, to put it in a simple metaphor, everybody gets knocked down. And it's about getting up. If you just stay there, then I guess that's it. But, you know, you got to get up, you got to brush, you know, wash your face, get up and try to figure out how to do it better next time.
You only got to get up one time more than you get knocked down.
That's right. That's right. You want to win more than
One
you
time
lose.
more, that's right.
Yeah. Hey, look, you know, some of the most successful people that we know of have failed miserably. Some of the people that you call billionaires today, or if that's what you call success, everybody fails. So, you know, it's just about what you do after that.
Oh, Dimitri, thank you for sharing your light and your art with the world. Please tell everyone what's next for you and where they can find and follow you.
Well, let's see. Jiu-Jitsu will probably be done. I'm editing it now, and it'll be done and out around March or April. And then the very next film I'm doing is called Man of War, and it was written by Gary Scott Thompson, who wrote Fast and Furious. And,
I love Fast and
Just that guy.
Furious.
there's going to be a very big movie star attached to that. I can't really.
I can't wait to see jiu-jitsu. That
Yeah.
sounds amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
Well, thank you guys so much for having me.
Yeah,
I
tell people where they
really
can
had a lot of
find
fun.
your personal journey.
Do you tweet
DimitriSite.com, I think.
Okay.
Yeah,
you go.
I've got
That
stuff
works.
on there, and I never really paid attention. But yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you guys so much for
Stay tuned.
having
We're
me.
back with more on Good Morning La La Land. Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. EverTalk is hashtag community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land on Transformation Tuesday. Our lives are clearly transformed through the shows, Netflix, theater, all the above. We have an amazing actress in the house, Samira Jackson. You may have seen her on Netflix. Kaylee.
Team Kaylee, yeah.
Team Kaylee, and then you've been in theater. You've done all kinds of great productions. How are you? We all match. We're all in black and white.
Yes.
You got the memo.
I got the memo.
Your star has just been shining so bright.
Oh, thank you.
The show is an absolute hit. Tell us a little bit about your journey and your role as Jackie.
Yeah, so I'm on the new Netflix show, Team Kaylee, and I play Jackie Murphy, who's a member of the Pico Middle School Wilderness Club. So Jackie is a perfectionist, a goody two-shoes, a rule follower, and even though she seems perfect, she does struggle with some self-doubts and insecurities, but her friends help her grow her confidence through the rest of the show.
I know there was a moment where you were all trekking through the mud.
Yes, oh my gosh, that was hysterical. So for one of the wilderness competitions, we have to dig through this huge pile of mud, which is actually slime, and we had to like dig through it to find a flag. But we were only supposed to go up to like our kneecap so we wouldn't get too dirty, but I like fell and it was all the way up my torso.
Oh, no.
So that was great.
That is great. You say you are like your character. How much would you say? Yes, not so much.
Jackie and I are both rule followers and straight A students, but she's a bit more proper and uptight, and I'm a bit more laid back.
I think it's really, though, an important conversation, though, about mental health and awareness, especially among teens. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. So I was on or featured in the Sandy Hook Promise Back to School PSA this year, and one of the messages that I think should be shared from that is talking about knowing the signs and start with hello, which is one of the Sandy Hook Promises programs, which is basically about spreading kindness and how the smallest act of kindness, like saying hello, can make a big difference, and how there has to be a bit more on mental health awareness because of this age of social media.
Right. You hear that a lot right now, like the small things make a big difference.
Well, yeah, and it's so interesting because I work with a lot of adults, and the adults I work with are executives, and one of the things that they struggle with is just saying hello and connecting with people in a kind way. So I love that. I noticed that about you right away, by the way. Like full of light and love. Just incredible.
Thank you.
Have you always been that way?
I think so. I've been very bubbly for a very long time. So, yeah.
What's it like for you navigating work, your friends, living in LA?
Well, I mean, I'm in high school now. I'm finally a freshman. So it's always going to be a little bit tough with all like the schoolwork and stuff. But you just got to kind of find a balance. Managing your time is something I'm working on.
When did you know for sure you wanted to be an actress?
when I was younger, I'd always dance around the house and perform like little skits for my parents. And then one day I saw the Disney movie Enchanted, and I watched that, and I couldn't believe that people could make a living off of playing pretend.
Yeah.
So from there, I did like children's theater and commercials, and then I got Jackie, and I knew from then on I wanted to act.
Wow, it's incredible.
Do you have any dream roles?
Well, I know it's the last season of Stranger Things, but I would have loved to have been on that show. And then part of the Spider-Man franchise, because I love Spider-Man. That'd be pretty fun.
Okay, we're going to manifest that.
Yes.
All right, Spider-Man.
I love it. And so tell us a little bit about this. I'm sorry, I don't usually talk about the clothes, but your clothes are so cute. And I love that you have kind of this little pin.
Thank you. Yes, a little.
It's adorable. It's so cute. So how do you stay up on the trends? I mean, there's so much stuff out there on Instagram or whatever. Is there anybody that you look to for the trends and what's going on?
Well, I love Marcy Martin, and I look for her for most of the stuff, and like Zendaya and Yara Shahidi. I just like scroll through their Instagrams being like, that's cute, that's cute, that's cute.
Create a little mood board.
Yes.
Yes, it helps a lot.
We talk a lot about the mindset here and like really keeping the faith. How do you kind of deal with maybe negativity, whether it's online or rejection, not booking a role? How do you stay positive and keep the faith?
Well, I mean, it's a ton about persevering. I mean, there's like, you're always going to get no's before you get a yes, and it's just about waiting and keeping a positive attitude.
Wow. Whenever you struggle doing that, not that you ever do, but if you would, who in your life encourages you the most and sort of like your greatest or biggest cheerleader?
My mom. Yeah, she's always there for me. And whenever I'm having a hard time, I can always go to her, and she's always there to give me a hug.
Moms are the best, aren't they?
Yeah.
Shout out, Mom. Yeah.
Yeah. So what does this typical day look like for you? I mean, do you go to an actual school?
I'm actually homeschooled. My program, like you can go to school for a couple days and you can also work at home.
This is so La La Land. It's not normal.
Yeah.
It's all the actors in this town. So tell us about this program.
So you have to go to school for a certain like period of time, like different hours a week, but you can work from home. So normally I just like wake up and then I go sit with my Chromebook and I work for hours at a time on my homework.
And she's smiling about
She
it.
smiles through it all. That's amazing.
I like school.
Love your heart.
I like school.
You are enchanted. Well, thank you so much. I'm so excited to continue to find and follow your journey because, like I said, you are certainly a star on the rise. Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
Cool. So my main social media platform is Instagram, and it's at Samara Jackson.
Fantastic.
Yes, and be sure to binge #Team Kaylee on Netflix. Stay tuned. We'll be back tomorrow. Good morning, La La Land. Can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk.
Hi everybody, I am so excited to have with me today Amanda Schoen, creator of Rivers 8, a luxury travel accessory line for those who crave luxury without cruelty. My next guest is Missy Reeves. You guys may know and love Missy from her very long career as Jennifer Horton on Days of Our Lives. Dan Holtz is a dear friend, co-founder of Beverly Hills Rejuvenation Center, and is known as the wellness expert to the stars.
EverTalk is #community powered, so we are excited to offer you a free 30-day subscription to explore the talk shows that will bring you timeless entertainment and evergreen conversations that will inspire, uplift, and empower you anytime, anywhere at EverTalk TV. Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land. We're very excited to welcome award-winning filmmaker Jason T. Gaffney to the show. And today we're talking about his new film, Analysis Paralysis. I love the title, by the way.
It resonates.
Yeah, been there, done that.
It's all in the name. So tell us about the film.
Well, the film is about a young man who has basically crippling anxiety to the point where he can't make a decision about anything until he plays out every possible scenario and how it could go wrong in his head.
Wow.
And in the film, we get to watch that and we took a comedic slant on it. So that allowed us to really amp up the comedy and really amp up the scenarios and have some fun with it.
Oh my gosh.
Just love that. When
love
did your
that.
fascination with analysis paralysis begin?
Well, I've been in the industry since I was 6 years old. I started acting on stage and stuff, and when I got older, I figured out I wanted to do films, but filmmaking is expensive, right? And so I co-wrote this film with my dad, Ed Gaffney, and we were talking about how can we make a film without breaking the bank, but still have the story be good, because obviously the less money you have for a film, the more hardships come into it. Like there's less locations, less actors, and so we have a family friend named Bill Kuhlman who he was talking to my dad, and he said that, and Bill said basically, you know, it's hard for me to make a business decision. I struggle with it, and so my dad and I started talking about that and fleshing it out. And we were like, wait, what if we went beyond just business? What if we took it into every aspect of his life, like going to the store or even just walking outside? Yeah.
So today we're talking a lot about, you know, basically taking full responsibility for our life. No one's going to save you. And as a filmmaker, you know, there's points in times, I'm sure, where you're like,
Oh, yeah.
someone's going to discover me, or if I just meet the right person, then we'll get the funds, then whatever.
Yeah.
So was there an actual moment when you went, I just can't wait anymore?
Yeah, I mean, basically, my husband, Matt, went to business school, and we kind of ran the numbers, and we were like, okay, if we crowdfund X number of dollars and we invest X number of our own money, we should be able to make this, and I don't want to wait. And the goal is to make a film a year. And so far, we've been on track.
A film a year, that's pretty good.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's really good.
That's really key in Hollywood, though, and a lot of the conversations creators have been having. Don't wait.
Right.
Create.
Of course, because you can wait until for forever, basically, because no one's gonna go point to you on the street and go like, "That's the guy."
I've been looking for my whole life. Yeah.
I'm sure you've been waiting to make a film. I'm gonna make it rain on you.
Wouldn't that be amazing?
Oh my God.
You know what's funny though?
That's not going to happen?
But I will say this though: 99.9% of anyone who moves to Los Angeles with a dream expects and assumes that will happen to them.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
it can be the most devastating thing, but by year 1, 2, and 3,
Right.
they finally realize that's not how it works.
Well, it's because of those stories. We all heard the story about, I'm blanking on the name of the actress, but she was in the soda shop, and then the famous director.
So Charlotte, so that happened
Yeah.
to Charlotte Theron inside of a bank.
That's
Yeah.
why I said 99.9%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's the
Something that can't happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Just not a good gamble.
But because we hear those stories, everyone assumes, oh, I'm just going to show up, I'll stand on the corner, and then I'm a star. You know?
That's how it worked for
Yeah.
me. Just
Yeah.
kidding. So tell us more about your film. So tell us more about what you're doing. Where is it launching? I don't know anything. Tell us all about it.
So you can actually rent or download it on Amazon, iTunes, or Google Play, and it's on streaming on Deku, which is an LGBTQ kind of Netflix.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Right now, and yeah, it's great. And so it's an LGBTQ film. And it's just about them living their lives as if they're just a normal cis straight couple. I wanted to, my production company, My Pet Hippo Productions, I wanted to create films with LGBTQ leads where they are not coming out. There's a ton of coming out stories. There needs to be a ton of coming out stories. We need those out there. But LGBTQ people go on to lead rich, exciting lives post coming out, and we just don't see enough of that in film.
It's
so
true, very
I
true.
Cover the whole spectrum.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes, yeah. It's beautiful. So what is the most difficult or challenging part for you of creating a film?
Probably the editing process, because I'll write the story how I want to do it, and then I'll crunch the numbers and go, okay, so maybe we can't afford a helicopter for this one. Maybe that's a few films down the line. But really, it's the thing I like most about it is finding a way to make people laugh. Because the world right now, as you know, is literally on fire, and there's not enough laughter happening. And so, especially with topics like mental illness, which the main character really struggles with, every Hollywood film paints mental illness as like, I'm lying in bed and I can't do anything and my day is ruined and I can't, and it's like, I've got mental illness and it's not as bad as my main character, but like, I laugh, I enjoy things, I go out, I get sad at times, but then I get happy. And that's really what we see Tyler, the main character's journey, is that like, he finally starts to go out with a guy, and he sees the highs and lows of a relationship. And so when making films, I really struggle to make sure that the comedy is there, to make sure that we can talk about deep things with a lighter air.
Laughter is so healing.
Absolutely.
And it is true because we've all experienced paralysis through analysis for sure. I know I have.
Oh, yeah.
And if I can't laugh at myself
exactly.
the whole situation,
then what's the point?
Then what's the point of it? So great that you're bringing light and laughter to all of it.
And that sugar helps the medicine go down. It really does. It's really effective.
Please tell everyone where they can find and follow you.
I am on basically all the social media sites. My Twitter handle is @JasonTGaffney. Same with Instagram. You can find me on Facebook, same thing. You can email me, jasontgaffney@gmail.com if you've got.
Well, there you go. You are the first guest to ever drop their email address.
Good for you.
Stay tuned. We're back with more on Good Morning La La Land.
We do
Where can you watch the stories of people changing the world? EverTalk TV, the Netflix of talk. I'm GMLA, the co-founder and host of EverTalk TV, and I am thrilled to introduce you to America's first live video streaming talk show network.
We all crave connection.
I'm a big fan of videoing a podcast.
The impact that I'm having people on a podcast is I'm having more impact on those people than I ever did in news.
We want to be heard, but we also need to listen.
Podcasts, I understand they are red hot.
It's actually remarkable how scary to me podcasting is. Everybody should have a podcast.
I really wondered why. I mean, we've been doing this for 12 years. Nobody has done this in other arenas.
We have to change the conversation to happiness over financial success. It was like, we have to. We have to.
Honestly, it was meeting new people who had already heard about what we have done and thanking me for the contribution we're making to their lives.
Oh, nice. That's
this
great.
is what my purpose is. This is why I was born.
Yeah.
I think this is my first time my book's been up on TV. This is awesome.
You can binge watch and binge watch.
You can binge watch.
And you can binge watch. Binge watch, or you can binge watch. Please binge watch.
You can binge watch and binge them on EverTalk TV. Thanks for coming. Bye.
Entertainment that will inspire, uplift, and empower you. Anytime, anywhere on EverTalk TV, your home for talk.
Live from Los Angeles, welcome back to Good Morning La La Land here on Truth Tuesday, Transformation Tuesday, Turn Up Tuesday, I don't know what it is, but it's Tuesday. Today we're talking to our very extraordinary guest, really about how to take responsibility for your lives and your careers and your relationships. And so I'm wondering, from each of you brilliant souls, what's been the greatest tip or trick you've discovered once you've decided to take responsibility for making or turning your life into a success? So there's something you probably did after you decided, look, this is 100% up to me. What did you do next?
He passed the mic. That's what he said.
You decided to be an actress, and then what?
Yeah.
What did you do that worked for you?
Well, I mean, being an actress is really hard because you're always going to get a lot of no's. And like I said before, it's a lot about persevering. So when I do get a no, I look for stuff that I can improve on, and I go back and I look at the sides and see where I could have made a change and build from there. And then also just realize that there's always going to be another opportunity out there.
Oh, I love it. I see why you get A's. Always have an answer.
Yeah,
good one, too.
that was a good one.
Right?
And she got the role.
Yes.
I think that every day, if you start looking at how overwhelming it is to live your dream, I think you're not going to be able to pull it off. So I think every day all you need to do is just figure out what 2 or 3 things you need to do today.
Oh, that's
and then 2 or 3 more things you need to do tomorrow, and 2 or 3 things you do the next day. And you just proceed that way, and you try to surround yourself with people that inspire you and help you step up. And if you start to see that there's a lot of people around you that aren't positive, it's probably time to shed that. So that's what works for me.
Dimitri, I have a quick question to follow up with you on that, because you mentioned what it really takes to live your dream. And once you've achieved that, as you have, then what? Because sometimes once people have really reached that brass ring and they've got their Oscar, they've got their Emmy, then what? How do you live with your dream?
Well, I think I've got an answer for you. I was sitting there watching years ago the Academy Awards, and I was watching a wonderful director by the name of Akira Kurosawa who got a Lifetime Achievement Award. I think he must have been 90-something years old, and all of us grew up watching his films, or at least in film school we'd see him. And he gets up and he gets this award, and in complete Asian fashion, he says something like, "Thank you so much for acknowledging me, and thank you so much for your consideration." He said, "Just now, I'm just starting to learn how to tell a story." So,
wow,
this guy's a legend. So I don't think you ever really, you should never stop.
Yeah.
You're learning every day, and I think you should just embrace that and you proceed that way. So I don't think, achieving your dream should be growing and learning every day.
Yeah. I love that. And let's go back to the point that you made earlier about producing being a verb, or dreaming being a verb. And it's something that continues.
You should always achieve and just keep moving forward and, be good to people.
Such a concept.
So I actually, I figured out that if you stop speaking in code, people start giving you what you want. And I was
explain that. That's powerful. It is.
So,
Yeah.
This is a book.
Yeah. This is a book, actually, and another movie probably.
So I was in a relationship for a few years back when I lived in New York, where there was a lot of code talk. There was like, I would say I want to go out, and my boyfriend at the time would say, "Oh, that's fine, you can go out without me." But he really meant, "Don't you dare go out." And I'm not good at reading code, and so I would go out, and then I would come home, and then he'd be mad, and I would get confused as to why he was mad. So once after the relationship ended and after I moved to LA, when I met my husband, I basically said to him on our first date, "I don't speak in code. If you want something from me, you're gonna have to say it." And once I adopted that as my life philosophy, then when I'm working with people as well in the industry, if they speak to me in code, I don't care. If you say that's good, I'm gonna do it. And if they have a problem with me later, we can discuss it. But I've figured out how to grab people who don't talk in code, and I start working with them. And it's amazing. Productivity goes through the roof.
Wow.
Because there's no resentment. There's none of that stuff.
I love that.
Wow. That would have helped me a lot in my consulting job, because I literally remember them asking me, "Do we want to come in on a Saturday? Do we want to come in on a Saturday?" I remember in my head, absolutely not. I don't want to come in on a Saturday. But the right answer was yes. I learned that over time, but thank you for that. Really.
Thank you all. We are Good Morning La La Land, America's first live streaming daily talk show, coming to you live Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. All of today's interviews are available as a podcast on iTunes, and the whole show is streaming on EverTalk TV, on Apple TV, and Roku.
That's right. We're waking up the world together, you guys. Have a great Tuesday and transform anything that you desire to. It's your world. You're responsible.
It's going to be a Good Morning La La Land.